Hey everyone, welcome to the Made It in Music podcast. I'm Riley Taylor, our community manager here at Full Circle Music, and I'm so excited for you to hear this upcoming episode because Seth and I sat down with the Tuten brothers about using TikTok marketing to find your fans. The Tuten brothers are a country music duo from Athens, Georgia, whose 180,000 TikTok followers have been fueling their commercial success. This was recorded along with our live audience from our Song Chasers community. You can learn more about Song Chasers at joinsongchasers.com. For now, let's dive into the episode.
We're super excited today. We've got another fun-filled episode of Finding Your Fans with the Tuten brothers this morning.
Yeah. The second time. Get up, Song Chaser.
Yeah. Got Walker Tuten and Sam Tuten. And this is, as you know, Riley, our Song Chasers queen. But yeah, we are going to be diving in today to just some of the strategies that they've used. They actually just had a new EP come out this past week, so everybody give them a nice hand for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Out everywhere. And we had the privilege of working on it together, and we're going to dive into working on some more today. So
That's right.
I love what these guys do, not only on a musical level, but they're great dudes. Very much fit the vibe of you all, Song Chasers, just good people. And they're hard workers. The thing that I've grown to appreciate about them, and the thing that Kenley, has not lied about since the beginning, is the fact that you guys treat this like a job. Like you show up to work, you keep it pretty structured, and you've really dove in and embraced the marketing social media side of things. And that's what I'd love to focus on today. We could definitely dive a lot into the writing stuff, but I'd love to talk just specifically because we're in our music marketing month. Maybe just take us through really quick, a little bit of your story. How'd you get to Nashville? And then we can dive into more of the specifics of kind of what you're doing to get your music out there. So
Yeah. Thanks for having us, man. Yeah. We started doing music in college at the University of Georgia, and we were basically playing shows, playing little open mic nights. So we kind of went to a show together one time. We're like, man, I think we could do this thing. So we started playing at open mic nights. And because of that, we started writing our own songs. And then somebody asked us to play a fundraiser. And then somebody asked us to play a sorority event. And kind of from there, we started doing shows. And so we really just started as a live band and did our own music, because kind of out of necessity of having to play live for people. So we started writing songs, and then by the end of college, we were both finance majors, and we were like, man, we really don't want to do finance. So maybe we should try this music thing. So we moved up to Nashville. And since then, we've been kind of doing the Nashville thing, which is connecting with whoever you can connect with, write with whoever you can connect with, market yourself as much as you can. And hopefully, at some point you start creating some traction, which we've been trying to do. And we're trying now to just put out a lot of music, and a big part, like what you're talking about, Seth, is marketing ourselves, and using social media and using shows and a lot of different things to do that.
Yeah. And I just so appreciate this part of you, and maybe you guys can dive into that, and Walker, you can speak to that, but you literally went from like a really comfortable, secure job to making that leap and going full time into this thing.
Yeah, dude.
Was that like a pretty scary moment, I imagine?
It was. I mean, so Sam was a year younger than me, and so he graduated from college a year after me. So for a year, I worked a finance job at Home Depot's corporate office, which was interesting. I was the barbecue grills buyer nationally, or I was the assistant. So you saw a barbecue grill in Home Depot, I put it there. But anyway, yeah, it is one of those things where, like anything that's comfortable, it's hard to kind of get out of it. But I think it was sort of hard for me, but it was also not that hard because I was like doing this job and I really just didn't like doing the job. I was kind of miserable at work every day and knew that like spreadsheets were not my future. And so I was like, I'm still young. At the time I was unmarried and didn't have a girlfriend. And luckily Nashville is only like 3 hours from Atlanta where we were. And so for me, it was like, you know what, I'm going to go give this thing a shot for 2 years. And like, I'm going to give it all we have and see if we can, get a pub deal going and and figure out a way to like support ourselves doing music. And luckily it happened. We're 4 years in now, but initially it is kind of scary to leave like the health insurance and the, all the 401k and the matching and all that kind of stuff that makes corporate America kind of
Plus
enticing.
the grills, man.
The grills, dude. Hard to leave the grills. You missed the grills.
Jimmy asked, did you get to test the grills out?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Oh, the best thing was, I don't know if y'all heard of Traeger. Like they're like a big, like,
I love Traeger.
you know, Traeger. They're like a big smoker, like electric smoker brand. But we started carrying Traeger, and they would come to our like corporate office like once or twice, I guess a quarter, and cook like the best smoked meats for everybody at corporate. And so they'd have like their like big like pit boss, king grill guy come in, and he'd just be like out there literally all night in the parking lot smoking brisket.
Yeah.
So I go get brisket for like lunch, breakfast, dinner, all the brisket, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you left the brisket for the grind.
Yeah, dude. Left the brisket for the songs, man.
Gotta leave the brisket to get the biscuit.
That's That's it. One of the things that maybe surprised me even when I was talking to Kenley, because we have the same publisher at Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I think when we were talking, he was telling me a little bit about y'all and what y'all were doing before we started working together. And he was like, man, as much as it pains me as a publisher, I've had to start blocking out days on the schedule for the guys to just do social media, TikTok stuff, like content stuff.
Yeah.
Because, publishers they're supposed to be all about the songs, but they also, he's also smart enough to realize the practicality of it is, even if you have the songs, they're not going to get out there unless you market them. And really now the way to do that is social media.
Yeah.
So can you talk about maybe even just like your journey into that? Was that like something you were reluctant to do at first, or how did you kind of?
I was, man.
Yeah.
I was reluctant at first just because I'm one of those guys that's like, I just want to make music. Like, I didn't sign up to do TikTok. And that's kind of was my mentality at first. And honestly, it was not a great one. Just because the world moves on and you can adapt or you can stay stagnant. And so for us, it was just about adapting to it. And it was during COVID when TikTok really started to explode, and we put out a couple videos and did like kind of some funny, goofy stuff, and a few things really exploded, the videos, and we were like, oh my gosh. But it was these goofy kind of spoof videos. And from there, it was, how do we turn this into actually promoting our own music rather than these goofy kind of, like funny songs or whatever. And so from there, we really started kind of just digging in and figuring out step by step and a lot of pain and effort of how do we promote our music on TikTok and Instagram? How do we do it that is true and organic and authentic to us without us feeling awkward or goofy or like cheesy? Those are a lot of things that we struggle to do well, and it's hard to do. And so, countless hours talking about it, countless hours watching other people, seeing what they do, how we can adapt that to us. And that's kind of how we've started doing it and what we continue to do. But that was kind of the beginning.
Yeah. And the thing that I've appreciated is it does feel authentic when I'm watching it. It's not like you're putting on some car sales guy persona or something. You guys are just sort of being yourselves and really finding a way to keep it about the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck in this TikTok hamster wheel of almost having to become like a game show host or something. And it sort of makes it. Can you talk about that? Like how have you sort of found what works and what hasn't worked?
Dude, I think for us, it was, to sort of speak to the first part of your question, like when we first started making TikTok, we had some friends doing it who were also musicians who exploded on TikTok, like had mega, like 10 million view viral videos, but they weren't about music at all. Like it was about like something completely different, like a funny story in their life or something. And like their TikTok went way up, but if you looked at their music, it was the same. Like it didn't convert anybody from TikTok to Spotify or Apple Music or wherever their music was. And I think we saw that pretty early on, and we were like, if we're gonna do TikTok, we want it to be about music. Like we want to, like Sam said, like at first it was goofy, but it was still about music. And so we could kind of like move that music into our music, if that makes sense. So that really was why we did it that way. And I think the authentic part is just, I think it comes from like playing a lot of shows and like playing a lot of music together. And hopefully as you get better at like that thing, if you can find ways to translate what you do in real life or translate what you do like at a show into TikTok, hopefully people will like appreciate it in the same way. And that's kind of always, and also we've always just been like, man, if we can't be ourselves and like do music, like, and if we can't be ourselves and be on TikTok or be artists, or like if some publisher or label is trying to like make us into something that we aren't, like, it's just like, I don't care anything about that. Like, I don't want to do that. And so I think that's like personally for us is important. Like, I would just rather not be an artist if I couldn't be myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like, you know, I mean, obviously you have to, but like, I'm not going to be somebody I'm not for the sake of, you know, TikTok or
some viral video.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think the question you got to ask is, so what? It's like, you get a 10 million viral video, so what? Like, what does that turn into? Ultimately, in the case of some of the folks who you're talking about, it's like, it didn't really probably do anything for their music career. It just, you have a viral video. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really create a career or fans that are willing to come.
Or any money, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, just because you have a 10 million view video, it doesn't mean you're going to see $1 from that, which is really an interesting thing. I think a lot of people think that like, dude, if I could get a video with 1 million views on it, like, I'm going to be rich. And like, it's not the case at all, you know, which is especially on TikTok.
There's you have to find ways to convert it. And you have a very finite moment of, okay, this thing is viral right now, even if it's your own song. Okay, this thing is doing really well. This song, we're continuing to see it do well on these platforms. How do we convert that from, for us, it's usually streams. How do we convert it from TikTok to streams, or Instagram to follows, or Instagram to streams, you know? And it's a difficult thing, but sometimes we use like little calls to action in our videos. And sometimes we just kind of keep putting it out there and saying, this song's out now, you know, kind of deal. So
Yeah.
just different ways of trying to convert it.
Yeah. Can you give some examples of like, what's the type of core content that works really well for you guys? Is it you guys sitting in front of a camera playing songs? Is it, I know you guys do the thing where you have a mic and you have the headphones on and you're kind of singing in all these different locations.
We've
tried it all, man.
Dude, we've tried everything, bro. And
Except for the dances. We haven't tried the dances.
yeah, for those of you out there, like we unfortunately, like, we don't have it all figured out as far as TikTok goes. And I think if anybody says that they do, they're probably lying. And there's a very few amount of people that really have it figured out and just continually pump out viral videos.
I'd say you're several steps along further than most of us, though.
That may be true. I don't know, but sometimes it feels that way. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think for us, what we found to work is, and what seems to work for most people in music is, number one, like, we feel like when we're filming a video, we want like our face to be a big part of the video, like in the like in the center of the frame, if that makes sense. And we found that subtitles work really well. Like, most of our videos that have done really well have subtitles on them, like that are, you know, the lyrics of the song usually, or a story about the song or something like that, because I feel like a lot of people watch TikTok and stuff on silent. They don't necessarily watch like with the sound on all the time. So it's just like another way to like hook people into what you're singing about and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
We found that it's like kind of boils down to three things. It's got to be quality, high quality. So if it's a really grainy or dark video, it's not going to catch people's eye. So it's got to be high quality. It's got to be quantity. You got to have a lot of videos. You got to take a lot of shots in order to
have anything that does anything usually. I mean, you might have one that if you post once a week, you might have one, but if you post 7 times a week, that's, that many more shots you have. And then the last one is speed. For us, it's like, if we can't sit down in a block of an hour and knock out 10 TikToks or however many TikToks it is, then we're doing something wrong, because we found that you might spend 2 hours on a TikTok and then it get, 500 views, and you might spend 20 seconds on a TikTok of as far as just shooting it and editing it real quick and going, and it might get 2 million. So it's not always an indicator. Like, you have to quickly knock them out and efficiently get them going, because if you don't, then you're just getting bogged down, and you can't have a lot of quantity when you don't have speed. So it's quality, quantity, and speed are the main things for us.
Yeah, and you're not overthinking it. It's almost like the time you spend on each of it doesn't have a correlation with
No,
how well it does.
it's a reverse correlation, honestly. I mean, for us, maybe that's not the case for other people, but the more time I spend on a TikTok, traditionally, the more poorly it's going to do. Like, it's not going to do well.
Do you think that's just because the platform likes like unproduced stuff? Is it just favor that?
I think that's part of it, and I think, I don't know. It's just when I have these ideas, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make, like, usually the videos that take me a long time, I have to do a lot of editing on, and I'm not a great video editor. That's not something that like I traditionally am good at. And there's so many people out there who are great video editors who I think are gonna win that battle against me every time. Like, what I'm good at is making songs and music, and so I have to find ways to like make that part of my quantity and speed. Is like, okay, well, I can make music probably better than most of the guys who can make really great videos. And so how do I give people a lot of music to listen to in a high quality way, if that makes sense?
Well, in different versions of it, this was something we talked about the other day, is like, I think a lot of artists feel like, oh, we've promoted that song, like we already did a post about it.
Oh, dude.
You got to do it's that you can't feel like you're bugging people with like multiple versions and multiple.
No,
we hammer the same song. We have this song from 2021 that recently has made a resurgence on Instagram Reels and TikTok called There She Is, and it just continues to do well. And at one point we had sort of given up on the song. We were kind of like, we think it's good, but I guess nobody else like really loves it that much. Like, we thought it was going to be really good, but whatever. And then one time we just happened to post a TikTok or reel of it, and it did well. And we're like, maybe people are connecting. Like, a lot of people commenting that I can't believe I've never heard this. This is amazing. Stuff like that. And
that's so big of it, is like there's every chance in the world that people just haven't even heard it. Like, even if you've posted it 100 times.
Dude, every time I post that song, there are 20 comments on there. Oh my gosh, I love this song. Like, where can I find it? And it's like, you can find it on everywhere you listen to music.
Same place I've told you the last 2 years.
But it's all these people who have never heard it, man. And it is so true that, like, if you want people to hear your music, in our experience, you've got to put it out so many times. Because if you think about the way you consume TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, like, you're not like, if it's something you don't want to see, you just swipe. You don't care about like the videos that people have posted in the past. You're just watching what's in front of your face. And if you hear a song that you like for the first time, you're going to go listen to it, whether, they posted about that song 20 times or not,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I don't know.
How big is the kind of hook at the beginning of a video? Like, I know a lot of people make content where they're like, hey, if you just broke up with your boyfriend, this song's for you. Like, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff.
it's big, I think.
Dude, I hate to say it, but I think it is big.
Yeah.
Because the way that, the algorithm, everybody talks about the algorithm. The way it works is the longer people view your video, the more it's going to get pushed out there. And so if you don't hook somebody right at the beginning, like I don't have TikTok on my phone, but I've seen Walker on his and other friends on theirs. And it's like a split-second decision. It's like they watch, boom, swipe, watch, boom, swipe. And then something about one video catches their eye and they watch it for a little longer. And so it's just about your video catching that, grabbing hold of somebody for that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
They say it's the first 3 seconds
Mhm.
that you have that long, and
Yeah.
sometimes not even.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And so you got to grab them in the first 3 seconds. And I don't know exactly always how to do it, but I mean,
What are some examples of how you guys have kind of tried to do that in your TikToks?
Yeah.
we've tried a lot of ways. I mean, we do it. We've done the whole, like point at the caption thing. And like, that works. I mean, I don't really like doing it, but it really works.
So you just have a caption up with like what, the title or something?
Yeah. So, it'll be like a frame, and like, I'll be in the frame. There'll be some space above me, and I'll be like pointing up, and it'll be, there she is. And it'll be like, ladies, this is how your man should feel about you. And like something about those words in front of there she is grabs people. I don't know what it is about it.
Or like on See You When I See You, it's like, wrote this song about an ex-girlfriend or something, and like pointing up at that. And it's usually something that's like, I wonder what it's about,
Well, and if they're listening with the sound off, they're like, oh, that's intriguing. Like, I want to click on it and actually turn the sound on and maybe hear the song at that point. So that does make sense. Like, I get that.
It does. And it's, I think like we've experienced like a lot of like songs with some pretty heavy emotion attached to them do the best on like TikTok and reels and stuff like that. And if you can find a way to like boil those emotions down into like 5 or 6 words, like that seems to do pretty well. Because people relate to that, and they want to feel whatever you're talking about. You know? So,
well, they're on it because they want an emotional escape or an emotional affirmation or something. And so it makes total sense.
They also want it to be like quick and convenient too.
Yes.
And that's the hard thing about making that like mesh.
yeah, it's like, how do you boil down a very heavy, complex emotion into like 6 words that people can consume quickly?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think it's you can maybe speak to this too, of just like, you have to kind of get over your pride of like, man, we spent how long writing hundreds of songs to get to this one song, and then we got to boil this thing down into like a 6-second teaser thing.
that's hard.
Yeah, it is tough. And I think ultimately too that it comes a lot down just to the song. Like as much as we can gripe about like, oh, the algorithm's not pushing my thing, or the, whatever, TikTok's against me or whatever. It's like, maybe our song is just not that good, or maybe there she is for whatever reason just connects to people. And because like you start to see trends of like a song doing well over and over again, and which just goes to show that a great song will reach people usually. And it'll connect to people. So that's what it's been about for us, dude, is kind of like swallowing our pride there as well.
Yeah.
Of like, maybe, we want to give this song shot after shot after shot, but at some point, like not every song is going to be the best one. And so just trying to write great songs that will cut through.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit maybe about your process? Do you guys kind of batch out days, or how do you think about like scheduling and making time for this kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's changed a lot over the years. Right now, what that looks like is we're fortunate. We have a younger brother lives in Atlanta, who's really good at video editing, and like he does a lot of wedding videography and stuff.
I did not know there was a third brother.
There's a third Tuten, man.
I mean, he's not in the band.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been trying to get him in the band.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's not that interested.
But anyway, he's been doing some content for us, and this kind of technically how we do it is we'll like block out a half day with him. Like he'll come up here, or like we'll go down there or something, and he's got a nice camera, and we'll basically have like a list of songs that we want to promote. So we'll get like 7 or 8 songs, like 3 songs that have done well in the past, 2 that are coming out, in the future, and then, 3 that we've released in like the last 3 months. And we'll just like go down the list and do a verse and chorus of each song, just boom, 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 boom. And the way we kind of do that is we'll play the song on our phone. So we can hear the song, and then we'll basically sing it to the camera. We can hear it. So we're on the same rhythm, the same time. So we're lip syncing the song. And then we go back after we do that and put the actual like recording over our voice. So it matches up the actual recording with what we're lip syncing to.
Yeah.
Did I explain that well? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like how we've found it can work pretty well because we tag, this is getting all technical, but like we tag the sound. So we tag the actual song that we're lip syncing in TikTok. And so you get this string of TikTok videos that's all connected to the same sound, if that makes sense. And so we found that's kind of the best way for us to do it, because it allows us to, I mean, I can lip sync a song once every minute, like it takes me about a minute to sing a verse and a chorus of a song. And so if you give us 3 hours to do that, like the other day we had 3 or 4 hours and we came out with like 110 videos.
Wow.
And so our goal is to post every day. It's a lot of editing, but we go in and.
So does your brother give you all those files and then you just take them and edit them all basically?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a lot of editing. I'm starting to like explore like getting like people in Fiverr to edit them, like, which is like a work for hire site with like a bunch of people from Indonesia that edit videos, I think.
For sure.
But yeah, it would save me a lot of time. But anyway, yeah, so he'll give us like the raw files and then I'll put them all on TikTok and put captions on them, sound on them, put them out.
And they already look great out of the camera, which is the thing. It's like the huge benefit of having Jack do it is, one, he's got a great eye for it, and two, the quality is there. Like as soon as he records it, it's there. Like it's a great camera, and iPhones have a great back camera, and so it's just like, I can't stress enough that if you have a bad looking video with poor lighting or with poor like sound, it's like muffled sort of, it's just not going to work on TikTok usually. Like it's not going to catch people's eye enough for it to do well.
And a lot of what you guys do is like outside, so the lighting's just automatically great, right?
Yeah. And I mean, if it's an overcast day outside, then we're like, oh, we need to get some TikToks today because the lighting's gonna be better. And it's like, I think people don't really think about that sort of thing, but like if you're under a tree and you've got like all these shadows on your face and like you're just gonna swipe past it, because it's not really compelling. So we definitely like think about stuff like, oh, this is good lighting. We should knock out some TikToks today.
Yeah. So good lighting, just quick 30 seconds on that. So overcast days are good.
Yeah.
Like what else is good lighting? Like what else makes good lighting?
It's like
how you have these lights up here, like y'all can't see them, but so it's got lights, so y'all can see our face clearly. It's not like real shadowy, like maybe my hat has a little shadow I can't see, but like y'all can see our faces clearly, which is important. So like that, like front lighting, overcast, so it's not like super bright and like reflective off your.
A sunny day, that's actually pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's tougher. Yeah.
We've never really had a ton of success filming on like a super sunny day. So like the golden hour is a real thing. Like if the sun is like down behind the trees and it's like that last like 45 minutes to an hour of sunlight during the day, or the same thing in the morning, like that's definitely the best light to make a video or pictures look good. I'm sure there's some people who know how to do it, but that's how we can do it, just kind of straight out of the box. It seems the best. But
my wife's a photographer, so I've learned all the little tricks, and I just know that if there's a time, if it's 4:30 or 5, sun's going down, I'm like, I better brace for 1 million pictures.
Yeah.
The camera's coming out.
Just turn the mirror and smile.
Just screen. Yeah, exactly. Which is stuff you don't think about though as a musician. Like, you all have had to sort of just learn this whole other way of
it is. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's like you're not only a musician anymore, you're like a production manager for TikToks and a marketing manager and all this stuff. So it's just a lot of different skill sets.
Yeah. So I want to talk real quick, and then we'll open it up to some Q&A as well at the end. So I'm sure y'all have. Joel says this is gold. So awesome. Y'all are dropping gold nuggets.
Drop some gold, man.
I want to talk a little bit about there's marketing to your fans. Today's, we're talking a lot about finding your fans. How you do that is on TikTok, but then there's also marketing to the industry, which is another big part of what you have to do if you're an artist or a songwriter is, okay, well, you obviously want to get a publishing deal,
right?
You want to get a manager, you want to get a booking agent, like that. That's a different type of marketing.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how you guys have approached that since you moved to town?
Yeah, I think the big thing is having good music, great songs, obviously. If you're, you know, no matter how much marketing you do, if your songs aren't good at all, then it's not going to matter too much usually.
Or even if they're good and not great.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's almost worse.
Yeah. Yeah, like finding a way to take them to the next level. I would say a lot of it too is networking as much as, you know, I hate to say it, the music industry, like most industries, is about who you know and about being friends with so and so over at so and so label, you know, or being friends with this artist who puts you on his tour with him and stuff like that. So it's a lot about just getting to know the people around here. And you can't, like, for us, it's always been about being ourselves in that regard and like not trying to treat people in a way that we're just trying to get something from you, but being genuine and wanting to be their friend and wanting to hang out or whatever. And then, you know, hopefully that'll turn into something. We don't ever want to make it like where we're trying to use people in networking. And I'm sure that's a line that a lot of people walk as far as like how to navigate that. But yeah, just like being yourself, being authentic, getting to know people around town, getting to know the publishers and the labels and the people in those settings. And honestly, for us, a lot of it when we moved to town was going out to the bars. You know, that's where all the songwriters hang out and going to the songwriter nights and going to the writers rounds. So, and just meeting people and being like, hey, you want to write and stuff like that. So that was a lot of how we did it at first and got our foot in the door in Nashville, was doing that.
Yeah. I think it's just figuring out to just re-say what he said is like figuring out where the people that are important spend a lot of time and just going and spending a lot of time there. And like, you're gonna eventually, you know, you're gonna make friends with all those people because you're spending time there. So we spent a ton of time at Whiskey Jam when we got up here. And because there's a ton of songwriters and publishers and booking agents that spend a lot of time at Whiskey Jam. And so we went to a lot of Whiskey Jams. And then afterwards we go to Red Door, which is a bar down the street where everybody, you know, everybody in the music industry spends a lot of time in Red Door. So we go to Whiskey Jam and then go get a beer at Red Door. And, you know, that's 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And we do that twice a week, 3 times a week. And, you know, that's kind of how you start to like recognize all these like similar faces that are around, and then you get to be friends with them. And that's just kind of how I think this town seems to work. Unless you're mega viral on TikTok, and then
It's kind of a shortcut.
it seems to come to you a little bit more. Yeah.
But even then, there's not a lot of depth with that because there's been a ton of artists that have been signed off of that in the last couple of years and have been dropped, and because they don't have that relational equity over the years with as weird as it sounds to say, they don't have the relational equity with the town of Nashville.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to build like a trust here.
Yeah.
I think you're right, dude.
I mean, country music is still built on the industry here for sure, on the labels, on the radio, on the publishers. So to really make it in country, for the most part, unless you're Zach Bryan or, you know, Cody Johnson, you have to kind of go through the industry typically.
Yeah. And you know, I think Zach and Cody are great examples of go build it and find your fans first, and then the industry will find you. So so if you do that well, that definitely works as well.
Yeah.
As we're kind of closing up this part, and then we're gonna transition into some Q&A. Do you have any advice that, like, looking back a few years ago at the Tuten brothers moving to Nashville, that might be helpful for somebody out there who's feeling maybe overwhelmed with, okay, how do I even start? It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, honestly, as I think about it, I would just say, like, don't worry so much about it. Like, a big part of ours is a big part of our lives is our faith. And like, just for us, it's like, if the Lord wants it to happen, he's going to make it happen. And like, all we can do is our best. And so for me, it would be just like, dude, don't worry so much. Like, just like continue to give it to the Lord, work as hard as you can. Like, you'll figure out the things you figure out in the time that you figure them out. as stupid as that sounds, it's like you can't know everything at first. You can't know how to do everything at first. You just have to start and put yourself out there. And, over time, just like anything else, you get better at what you're doing. And I think that was that's been us for the past 6 or 8 years. We've been doing this thing, since college, is like just trying to get better at every little detail.
I would say that. I agree with all of that. And I would say too, just like if you want to get good at like anything creative, at like TikToks or writing songs, this is just my experience. And again, I don't have it all figured out, but you've got to just do it. Like the only way you're going to get better at writing songs is to go write 100 songs. And I know that sounds overwhelming, but like just write a song today, and then write another song tomorrow and put out a TikTok today, and then make something a little bit better about it tomorrow and put out another one, and like just do those things. And I think that's how we've found that we get better at stuff, is that like you just got to start doing it, because it's easy to get the whole like paralysis thing where you just like it feels so overwhelming and you're just like, I don't even know where to start. But if you just like put out a TikTok today and write a song today, and then tomorrow you're like, I want to write a little bit better song and put out a little bit better TikTok. By the time you do 100 of them, you're going to be way, way better at it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. Some people maybe have it figured out right out of the gate, but that's kind of how we've had to do it.
Yeah. Nothing beats the reps for sure.
Yeah. Reps.
And I know we've said quality and like all this stuff, like it's gotta be really good looking. Like I've said that twice, but you're probably not gonna have that right at first. We sure didn't. It took us years to figure out how to make really high quality, like really engaging videos. So, just start where you can and move from there.
Yeah. And the good news is it sounds like the time you spend on trying to make it doesn't always reflect. So
No,
so don't stress out.
people aren't going to look back at your old stuff and penalize you for it, I don't think, usually.
Awesome. Some great stuff in the Tutens. Where can everybody find you guys, connect with you guys, website, socials, all that stuff?
Oh, dude, all the socials,
Just look up the Tuten Brothers on Instagram or Spotify or Apple Music, anywhere, YouTube, whatever.
Awesome. Make sure you all do that. Follow their stuff. I would say one of the best things, if you're watching this, learning this, and you're wanting to learn more about how to do it, just follow these guys. Watch what they're doing. They're literally treating it like it's their job, and it's inspiring to watch. So thanks for taking the time to be with us here on Song Chasers today.
Yeah, man. We're happy to be here.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Made It in Music podcast. Make sure to check out our other episodes. We have well over 100 interviews with some of the top music industry professionals, many here in Nashville and many from all over the world. Subscribe to make sure that you automatically get future episodes, and leave us a review if you loved it. It would really help us out. Or send an email to support@fullcirclemusic.com if you have ideas for how we can improve the show. See you in the next episode.